Today, we're going to be making our food out of model magic. And we're going to learn in part of our food art study and unit how to create food photography. So let's think about some of those advertisements that you see when you look at food. And looking at just a couple images here that you can find on Google, these are some other people's work and how they highlight food. So what makes you want to go to a certain restaurant? What makes you really hungry for pizza or pasta or cheeseburgers? You think of all those different foods, even desserts. Do you start smelling that smell when you see an image of it, or just seeing a color? Does it bring back a memory? Anything about that. So when you're thinking about food, a photographer's job is to make you want to feel like you want to go there, that you have to go there, or that you need to have this. And so today I want you to create, using the model magic and some markers, your own particular food that you're interested in doing. It could be desserts, it could be a miniature meal that's your favorite, it could be anything that comes to mind. So let's take a look at what some photographers do by looking at both of these videos. And it's going to shock you on how commercials use some of these tricks in order to get you to buy their food.
You may have noticed that when you see virtually any food advertisement, it never ends up looking the same as it does in real life. Even packaged frozen foods feature photos that have hungry consumers crying foul when the product comes out of the microwave. But it's only sensible, if a little sneaky, for advertisers to make their products look as appealing as possible. However, this practice goes far beyond shooting an entree from its good side. Some of the tricks used by photographers to make food look scrumptious are pretty clever, and some are downright mind-blowing. Nothing says hot and fresh like lots of steam, if advertisers are to be believed. When someone in a commercial splits open a dinner roll, opens up a Big Mac carton, or microwaves popcorn, you can be sure that the product will be steaming like a tea kettle. Of course, we all know that commercial shoots are a long process involving lots of takes, and that nobody is on set constantly cooking up steaming batches of product. But the secret behind those steamy shots is as simple as it is clever. Most food doesn't have a very high water content, so it stops steaming pretty quickly as it cools down. But cotton balls can hold plenty of water, and if soaked cotton balls are microwaved, they'll keep steaming for much longer than your average burger. Photographers will strategically place them behind or around a product, enabling them to get that perfect shot that gives that product a just cooked appearance. Mashed potatoes are the unsung heroes of advertising photography. They're easy to work with and model, keep for a long time, and won't melt or run under hot lights. Over the years, advertisers have found a number of ways to use mashed potatoes to make other foods look better on camera. They can be used to add volume to meat products like roasts and whole chickens, simply by injecting them into the desired area. They're also baked into pies, to give the filling a sturdy consistency that won't run when a piece is cut. But by far their most popular use in advertising photography is as a stand-in for ice cream. Ice cream is incredibly difficult to photograph, especially because it needs to look ice cold. The hot lights used on a photography set will cause it to start melting within seconds. But mashed potatoes don't have this problem. Adding colors and mix-ins makes the illusion complete, and as long as they're the right consistency, it's nearly impossible to tell the difference. If you've ever seen a picture of frosty cold ice cream that made you just have to go out and get some, it's almost certain that you were actually looking at mashed potatoes. There are also a number of problems photographers encounter when trying to photograph milk. It tends to look thin and not quite wide enough on camera, and its most typical use in advertising, as a co-star in cereal ads, presents even more issues. Cereal has to look crunchy and fresh in ads, and as we all know, it doesn't take most cereals very long to become soggy. That is why the milk you see in these ads isn't milk at all, it's glue. Regular Elmer's glue retains its stark white appearance on camera, and it's so thick that no cereal is heavy enough to sink inside it. The cereal bowls you see in these ads are modified to be only a couple of inches deep. A thick layer of glue is poured in, and a sprinkling of cereal is laid over the top. Photographers can shoot for hours, and the cereal will stay fresh and dry while the phony milk never loses its milkiness.
Now that we've looked at both of those videos and just quick clips, here are some ideas and inspiration for you for creating either a miniature meal, your favorite meal, different, excitable kind of cookies or toy things that you would purchase at a bakery, and even just a sundae. Now, I don't have these cups, but if you have a little cup that you wanted to put in, you can also do that too. You'll notice I labeled where some of these images have come from. The rest are just from Google under there when you insert it through Google Slides. So you can see these are inspired by, think of Wayne Thiebaud, as we studied in the past, and how he really loved looking at the food and those emotions that it would bring. Maybe you're all about fast food here, or sushi, desserts, and breakfast. So now that you've thought for a moment, or just have some ideas running through your mind, let's look at my video on how to take that model magic and add marker to create the color that you're looking for. We're going to work in small little batches, and I'll show you how to create the perfect color brown, as well as adding on the color to mix it so that it's already mixed for you, and even using marker to add little highlights and details afterwards. Finally, after we make all of this, we'll design a plate and we'll take some pictures. And if there's time, I will also add in a little extra challenge for you to create in Google Drawing or in Google Slides your own imaginary background that you can place your food on by creating PNGs of our creative pieces that we've done. So let's begin making our clay foods. Today we're going to be using the Crayola Model Magic, and I have given everybody the white Crayola Model Magic because we are going to become mixologists with these, and we're going to use our markers to create each of the colors that we want for our foods. So when you go to make whatever you want to make, like here is an example of a donut. You can make the brown by using a simple a brown marker. But if you don't have a brown marker, you can also mix colors to create your own brown. So the easiest way to mix it is to mix complementary colors. So think about when they're opposite on the color wheel, right? So we always talk about the Bears colors, which blue and orange, and then you have the Vikings colors for if you're thinking football, and that's purple and yellow. And then you also have the Christmassy colors, which would be red and green. So these are the quickest way to make your brown colors, and you'll see which one fits best for whatever you are creating, and the more you're mixing it. But if you also don't have it, the other quick way to do it, or memory way to remember it, is to use your primary colors. I know all of us know our red, yellow, and blue makes primary colors, and the reason this works is because red and yellow makes orange. And again, the complementary of blue, opposite on the color wheel, is orange. So there we go. So today that's what we're going to do. We are going to take our clay out, and we're going to be making at least 2 to 3 different types of food pieces, and it could be however way you want. Now when you mix your foods, here are some other fun little things to think about. Is you can make the swirls on it. Maybe you want to make one large cupcake instead of making 2 foods or 3 foods. You get one package, and this will help you create whatever you want today. So we're going to have to work on using our time wisely. But you can create anything that you're thinking, and then I'm going to give us a paper plate that we're going to use to display our food on. And next week we'll work on being food photographers. So let's get started. All right, so when we're beginning, open up your package, and you'll notice you have the nice clay Model Magic. It feels like, doesn't really stick to you. It's super soft, almost a little foamy. When you open it, you may need a pair of scissors, but what's nice about it is it's really stretchy. So as you have it, you can always roll it in between your hands, and a little goes a long way. So if you're trying to make sprinkles, you can do that, or a drizzle, or different things that you want to add onto your piece. These are really easy ways to create anything out of it. Again, it's super easy that you can even make a ball. So let's get started with how do you mix the color. So take whatever piece that you're thinking. Obviously, this is a big, huge chunk to start working with. So I'm thinking I want to have another donut, right? I'm just going to make a little bit of, not a box of donuts, but certain donuts. So squish this, and now I'll show you my trick of being kind of like a baker, right? So here we go. I'm going to use my complementary colors. So I'm going to put some purple on here. And then I'm also going to add in some yellow. So these are my complementary colors. Already, I just don't want to get the yellow on the purple here or on the marker so it doesn't get gross. And now comes the fun part. You just start folding it and stretching it. Fold and stretch, fold and stretch. You kind of stretch it and keep going. Now you might end up with some color on your hands, and that's okay. But the more you work it, the more the color is going to start getting all onto this piece, which is why we're working in small pieces as well. And it might not work the first time that you do it. So I know as I'm looking at it, it's like, hey, that's not enough. It's just very light. So keep working on this until you get the color, the exact shade that you would like, which means putting it down and adding some more. Once you get to the desired color that you're looking for, I want my donuts to be slightly different. So I have a darker donut here and I have a lighter one here, almost like it's going to be a little bit of a glazed donut. So you can see that I created the donut first, and then I'm going to put the layer of the color that I'm looking for on top, and then my drizzle. If you find this process too tedious, meaning that you're just like, I just want to build, you can always build and then you let it dry and you could color it later. So it's up to you. This is just a fun way. So if you want to make a donut similar to what I have here, all I'm doing is rolling it into a ball, and then I'm going to squish it a little bit. And then what you can do is take a marker or pencil, whatever you have, and just put a little hole twist in it. So just like that. If you want to expand it and stretch it a little bit, you can. No, donuts are never an exact perfect shape, but that's how you can get that nice thicker feel to it. And so here will be one of my donuts. And then you can go and grab some more of your design. Maybe I want this to be a white on top, right? A white filling sort of a thing, or glaze. And then I could put some sprinkles on it. So I'm going to flatten this out and I'm going to stretch it. And what you can do is even go like this. It's just find a way that looks right for you. What do you want? You know, how do you want the cream or the frosting to go on it? Because once it goes on it, it's going to stick. Maybe you want some of it oozing off a little bit. And, you know, you just kind of build it on here. So you can always cut pieces. You can flatten it and have it come back on. It's really up to you and your own creativity. So go ahead and create different types of food. I'll show you some different examples that students have made in the past as we did this lesson, and I can't wait to see what creations you guys create. Once you've finished making all of your foods, the next thing that we're going to do is decorate a plate. So I have just a small little dessert plate or a hors d'oeuvre plate, as they say, for snacks and different things. And create any design that you want on it. You could just do a solid color with a couple patterns on it. Here I'm drawing some strawberries, some chocolate strawberries with adding in like the little swirls on here, and then I'll add the red strawberries in the green and maybe put a little saying or something on there for my dessert plate. So it's up to you, however you want to decorate it. Use it for how you want to place your food and your own style. It could be your name, it could be anything. So enjoy decorating it, and I'll show us how we're going to photograph shortly. Now that you've built your pieces and you've designed your plates, what I want you to do is to use either your Chromebook, iPad, whatever you have around you, and think about what type of light would you, if you were the photographer, set up. Would you need natural light? Do you want to have a specific shot in mind? Meaning, do you want it to be close up? Do you want to take a picture above the food, from the front of it, far away, having it mixed with other foods? And what do you want to place your food on? So what we're going to do here is you can use the desk that you're currently at or where you are at home and take those pictures. But then also we could just take the pictures and I'll show you how to remove the background, and we'll find a free background on Google in our Google Slides that we can put our images on and create our own food photography masterpiece. So let's take a look at that next step. The first thing I want you to consider is when you are creating or staging your food, start thinking, how do you want to put it together? Would you want to have them all leaning with each other, some kind of in the front of another? What's something that would get you excited to want to purchase this food or actually come and eat it? Would changing the angle make it more interesting for you? Would having it from a different side or up on top, from behind, from far away, having it on something? So that's something I want you to consider as you're placing your food and creating the design that is most interesting to you. So the first thing that you want to do when you're ready to create your food photography piece is I want you to take a picture or a few different pictures of your food just to get an idea. Arrange them, see which one applies to you the most, what one you're happy with. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to remove.bg. What this means is remove the background. So what I'm going to do is I already downloaded it and I am going to upload it by placing it right here. I'm going to drag it in. What you can do on your computers is click the upload image, and I can also do it this way too. Go to my desktop is where mine will be. Yours most likely will be under recents, and you'll be able to see your images there. So I am going to quickly just grab, I labeled mine donuts. Here's my image. I'll import it. And watch what happens. It removed the background for my food. Isn't that lovely? So then I'm going to click download, and it will download it for me. You'll see it pop up on your Chromebooks on your right-hand side. For me, it just pops down into my screen here. If for any reason it's missing different things, what you can do is go to edit, or if you want to change and play with your background here, you're more than welcome to do so as well. Maybe you want to have your food on a wood floor. So you can change having this here. You can have your food looking like it's on this scenery. So you're more than welcome to play with everything design-wise here as well. Maybe you really enjoy, it looks like it's sparkling and various other things. So that's something else that you can do. I also wanted to mention, so if you chose the different things for the photo backgrounds, just go back to color and you can click on the transparent one. Now, the next thing that you can do is if it didn't erase everything, go to the erase. You can choose your brush size and you can go around and erase various things. Do this for both of your images and have those downloaded, and I'll show you how we can make our own photography background in Google Slides. Once you have your images done, open up the Google slide that I've shared with you in your Google Classroom. If you don't know how to find it and create your own, you can just go to Google Drive and open up your very own file. So now once we're in here, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to import our images. So you can either drag it if it was on a desktop and place it directly onto your piece. You could also, if you have a downloads folder that looks like this, you could just drag it and drop the same way here too. So those are different options. But since on Chromebooks, most of it is saved on the download section, let's go to our insert. So you can go to insert image and you want to upload it from your computer. Once you go there, mine is in my downloads. Yours might be in your recents. I already did this version. I'm going to add in my plate. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. So once I have my two images on here, what I'm going to do next is move them onto the placement that I'm looking for. As you can see, this image went behind that one. So what I want to do is change the order. So what you can do is you can click on it, go to Arrange, go to Order, and you can send it to the back. So now what this allows is for my design to go right on top of my plate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them, if it allows me, right? And I'm going to move them over to the side here. What's nice about Google Slides and Google Drawing is imagine this is your table and the rest of this here is your piece of paper. So I'm going to create a background. We're going to click on background and you're going to choose an image. So I will go to do a Google image search and let's find a fun background. You could type in wood floors, you can type in anything that you're creating or thinking of. So I went ahead and I started looking at some different ideas. I typed in dessert background. Again, if you really enjoy the backgrounds that you found on remove.bg, you could just add those images that you created on here and just make a gallery look of those pictures that you could hang up as well. So here I found an image that I liked. I'm going to click on it. And now this is my awesome background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my two images that I have by dragging and copying it, and I'm going to place it on here. And I'm going to make them larger without unclicking them. There is a way to group this, but I don't want to do too many steps on everybody. So there's my food photography that I just created. That's one idea. The second one is adding a floor, and like say you wanted to have an exhibit, just like we have as an art show. So what you could do is insert an image, and I know we've done this in the past, but let's look up wood floors. So here's a wood floor. I think I'm going to select this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it and bring it to the very bottom of my screen, like this. And then I'm just going to add a wall. So I'm going to insert an image again, search the web, and I'm going to find a wall. So there's a variety of different fun walls that you could pick. If you have a particular one that you're thinking of, you can always use that as well. So a lot of these are brick walls. You can type in a rainbow wall if you wanted to. That's a fun one. So I'm going to insert this. Once you have this on here, I always match it to the corner. And the idea is to stay within what you have of the paper. You don't want to go past it too much. And then now I have that little bit of wood trim. So here's my room, which is pretty fun. So now I will then add in images that I've created on remove.bg to have my photography unit this way. Or you can always go back and you can select what you already did. Copy it, paste it. And so here I could have my food sitting in this room. So it's completely up to you and whatever you're thinking. And there you have it. You have a few different ways to create.